So, welcome to Stillness in the Storms. I want to talk to you about why can't I fall asleep? And it's really interesting, this one is because I had a problem with sleeping for a long time myself. And I just want to share with you what I learned about that and then go over some hints and tips. And really, it's celebrating my log cabin deep sleep meditation. My other meditation had been released, about 5 years ago now. And at the time I never realized I had a talent of putting people to sleep. But apparently I have, my voice. But hopefully this podcast will not put you to sleep. Hopefully it'll give you some hints and tips. So tonight when you go to bed, you will fall asleep really quickly. And mainly I'm going to go over the one thing that stops us falling asleep. And that's really important. We often go to bed and we put our head down on the pillow and we just hope we fall asleep. Very often we don't. The mind starts racing, the heart starts beating even more, and we don't fall asleep, and then we end up getting teasier and teasier. So that's what I'm going to share on today's podcast. So listen to the end for the 3 affirmations that are guaranteed to put you to sleep tonight. I'm Steven Webb, your host, and this podcast helps you to have some more inner peace in life when you have it least and you need it most. And why am I talking about sleep? Well, in my 5 simple practices for more inner peace, one of those is sleep. It should be the first one, a main one. Because if we haven't got our sleep sorted, there's no way we're going to sort anything else out. You know, sleep is the most important thing for the body. It's the most important thing for the mind. And unless we can have at least 7-8 hours sleep, average most nights, then your body's not going to function that brilliantly during the day. It's sleep that we need to repair the body. But why did I study sleep? You know, I'm an inner peace teacher, I'm a meditation and mindfulness teacher, and why am I bringing up sleep on this podcast? Well, when I hit my rock bottom when I was 40, the biggest problem I had at the time was I was lacking sleep. And no matter what I did when I went to bed, I could not shut my mind down. And because I was unable to shut my mind down, I was ending up in this spiral of less sleep. My health was going downhill. I couldn't function. I couldn't think straight. And it was this vicious cycle. And I ended up drinking. I ended up drinking more and more Southern Comfort each night. And because I'm paralysed, I had to ask my carers for a drink, and it was becoming embarrassing. And it's okay just saying, and I wasn't a drinker. So you imagine this, I didn't really drink in front of my carers at all. And suddenly here I was. They knew I was suffering. They knew I was pretty much going through a terrible time, and I was starting to drink every night. And 1 drink led to 2 drinks, led to 3 drinks. And eventually it got to the stage where even 3 drinks wouldn't allow me to go to sleep. So I realized I had to do something about it. And I started reading books on my iPad, and reading was really difficult for me. So I had to just find a way of going to sleep. So I started reading books about sleep. And I got loads and loads of hints and tips, and I learned techniques of going to sleep. And the main thing I learned is sleep is a skill. Something that you can learn to do. We very often just go to bed and we put our head down and we hope we fall asleep. You know, we're completely tired. We're completely knackered at the end of the day. And we go to bed and we just hope the circumstances are perfect for going to sleep. And very often they're not. But our mind is racing. We have something on our mind all the time. So what's the number one reason that we are unable to fall asleep? And I didn't read this in any books. I've just realized it over the last few years. And mainly when I'm lying in bed, not able to sleep, I think, why can't I fall asleep? And I realized one thing. And that is because I didn't feel safe and comfortable to go to sleep. And if you think about that, that's perfectly logical. Because for millions of years, we've slept in caves. We've slept in forests. And these weren't centrally heated, lockable homes. So we had to make sure that we couldn't fall asleep until we were not only completely knackered maybe, but which would override the survival mechanism, but we wouldn't fall asleep until we were or until the mind and the body felt completely safe and relaxed. It's no good falling asleep and then some kind of bear or saber-toothed tiger wanders into the cave and starts to fight us, starts to nibble on our feet or whatever. So we had to feel safe. And in today's age, the overzealous fear in us, the overactive mind, doesn't allow us to feel safe because we're thinking that, we've got to buy someone something for our birthday. We're thinking we've got to order this thing, or we've got to reply to this email, or we've got to say this to the boss, or we need to pay this bill. None of those things are threatening our lives right in this minute. However, the mind is active on them, so therefore it's preventing us from going to sleep. So we lie there trying to force our minds to shut down, trying to force our bodies to relax. Meanwhile, the body and the mind is fighting against us. It's going, no, don't go to sleep. Whatever you do, don't go to sleep, because there may be something going wrong here. There may be some bad things happening here. And therefore, you're trying to go to sleep while your body is trying to stay awake. So the one thing we can do to help us to go to sleep is make sure we got a comfortable environment to go to sleep, a comfortable and safe environment. That's what I want to help you with now. On two things really. Firstly, how do we prepare for sleep? And I'll give you a couple of hints and a couple of tips there, and then I'll talk to you about what you do when you get in bed. And part of this is taken from Navy SEALs. Now, if you think of a Navy SEAL, they don't know when they're going to get their next sleep. They don't know when and how long they're going to sleep for next. So they have to sleep in the most dire circumstances. And they have to do it whether they're tired or not. They have to catch a 2-3 hour sleep when it's available, not when it's convenient to go sleep at 10 o'clock at night. And they learn to go sleep. They learn it as a skill. It's part of the training. So I'm going to take you through that process of what they do at the end of this podcast. But just before that, how can you prepare your room and prepare your evening for the best chance of a good night's sleep? First of all, think of your bedroom as the cave and the way it was for millions of years. So that's what we want to create. So we want to create that cave and also to make it safe. So the first thing you do is reduce the temperature of the room. Reduce it down to about 16, 17 degrees. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but I'm sure you can work it out. Remove any LEDs in the room, any lights. You want it as dark as possible. Put your notepad and pencil next to the bed. And the reason why I say put a notepad and pencil is because if you have something on your mind, you can then just quickly pick it up, jot it down, and then it's done. And the mind thinks it's dealt with, so therefore that will leave the mind and you'll no longer be worrying or stressing about it. And you might have 2 or 3 things come up, but eventually your mind will go, okay, I don't need to worry about all those things now, which is pretty awesome. And stay away from your mobiles or your TV or anything like that, because they just wake the mind up. They're like the light. It's like the morning coming in, the sun coming in the morning. It just tells your brain to produce more chemicals to keep you awake. You know, we also know not to drink coffee and any stimulants after the mid-afternoon. And contrary to popular belief, alcohol does not help you sleep. It might help you to fall asleep, but you don't stay asleep, or you don't have a good night's sleep where it heals your body. Hence, you have a hangover. Especially as we get older, it's harder for the body to deal with the alcohol poisoning overnight. So you wake up in the next morning, your body might have dealt with the alcohol, but it hasn't done any repairing for the body. And this is why sleep is so important, is because it helps you to repair your body. It helps you to repair the day's thoughts, the neurons in your mind. And yeah, I'm not really a biologist, but I know certainly from all the books I've read and from my experience, I've taken notice how I feel in the morning. Sleep definitely helps to repair the body. It doesn't do it so much during the day because it's keeping you awake and keeping you doing the things you want to do. Your exercise and your thinking and your seeing and all of those things. The other thing is, go to bed when you are ready to go to sleep. Not before. Don't go and lie in bed for 2 hours watching telly. Your sleep really does need to happen the moment you get in bed. Unless intimacy, of course. But this can be a great way to aid insomnia anyway. That's a different story. That's a whole different podcast, that one is. And prepare a few things for the morning so you don't have to think about them. When you finish your evening meal, don't go and sit down for 2 hours and then get up and get everything sorted. Sort everything and then sit down and relax. Because we tend to sit down for the evening. Just before going to bed, we get up and then we start sorting the stuff for the morning, which really just wakes the mind up. To the final step, and this is how you will fall asleep. And if you come here to get a good night's sleep or to fall asleep, this is exactly what you come here for. And hopefully, let me know in the comments whether this works. But this is what you do. You might want to write down or take note of this. But here goes. The first thing you need to do is just when you're lying in bed, just tense your body. So tense your toes and then let them release. Tense your body and let it release. Tense your arms and let it release. This tells your muscles that it's okay to relax, that this moment is okay. This moment is perfectly fine the way it is, and it doesn't need to worry. And then do the whole body, every single part of the body, including your face. Don't worry about what you look like. No one's watching. Well, hopefully no one's watching you. But honestly, just screw up your face, screw up your eyes and everything like that. And then just allow your whole body to relax. And then just take a few deep, slow breaths. Take an in-breath normal and breathe out slowly. And do that for 3 breaths. And imagine your body going to sleep. We're not worried about the mind at the moment. We're just thinking about the body going to sleep. And then the next thing you can do is over the next 10, 15 breaths or so, just breathe in normally and then breathe out slowly. And as you breathe out slowly, you can say these 3 affirmations. So you breathe in and then breathe out slowly. Say, I am safe and falling to sleep. I am safe and falling to sleep. I am relaxed and falling to sleep. I am comfortable and falling to sleep. What these do is just allow your mind to stay focused on something. It allows your mind to slowly relax and keep active with something, but not too active to stay awake. And it stops it worrying about the daily things, because otherwise that's when it won't fall asleep. Now then, if that doesn't work, just that this is the cream of the crop. This is the one thing that is almost guaranteed to put you to sleep. And that's count back from 300 in multiples of 3 or 7. You might find 7 a little difficult. I do. So I do it in 3s. But if you find 3s really simple, do it in 7s. And just take a breath in normally and then breathe out slowly. 300. Take a breath in slowly. Take a breath in normally and breathe out slowly. 293. And just continue. If you lose count, start again. There's no competition. There's no can I get to 0 or something. It's just a matter of keeping your mind busy enough so you will fall asleep. So hopefully that's helped. Hopefully that helps you to get a good night's sleep tonight. Let me know in the review. You can always head over to my website, stevenwebb.com, and download the 5 simple practices for inner peace. Hopefully you'll have some nuggets and some wisdom from this. Thank you for joining me. This is Steven Webb, and this was Stillness in the Storms. Take care. Bye. Have an amazing week.